Hello and welcome to the Fighter's Take, brought to you by BetDSI. My name's Hollywood Joe Tussing. I'll be your host. And tonight we're going to take a look at UFC 228's co-main event, the Flyweight title fight between Nicco Montano and Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. So we'll take a look at both of these ladies' styles, some of the fights that led them up to this title fight, as well as make a pick for who I think will come out on top on September 8th. We'll start with Nicco Montano, the champion, coming into this fight, 5-2 in MMA. She is a plus 550 underdog to Valentina Shevchenko, who is 15-3, a minus 900 favorite. Nicco Montano won the inaugural Flyweight title on the Ultimate Fighter finale back in December of 2017, where she defeated Roxanne Modafferi by unanimous decision. This was a very tough contest for both ladies. It went all 5 rounds. Nicco Montano was able to dictate the pace a little bit more. Her striking was a bit more refined than the #1 seed, Modafferi. On the ground, Modafferi really attempted a lot of submissions, but Nicco Montano was able to defend those submissions. She didn't do a lot of passing. She wasn't able to land a lot of effective ground and pound, but she was able to control Modafferi pretty well on the ground, as well as land more effective, more significant strikes on the feet. Roxanne Modafferi, she's like 22-15 in MMA. She's a pretty basic striker, and she landed a lot of punches on Nicco Montano in their fight. Valentina Shevchenko is 57-2 in Muay Thai and kickboxing. She's a 17-time world champion, and her striking is worlds apart from where Roxanne Modafferi is. Her striking is worlds above Nicco Montano. In her last fight versus Priscilla Cachoeira, somebody that has a very similar style to Nicco Montano, Shevchenko was just dominant. On the feet, she was very good at counter-striking the single shots that Cachoeira would throw. She was able to land a beautiful inside trip takedown, and eventually she got the rear naked choke in the second round over Cachoeira. This was her first fight at 125 pounds. Valentina had just come down from 135 pounds, where she challenged Amanda Nunes in 2 very close fights for the 135-pound title. In her fights with Nunes, Valentina Shevchenko showed that she has a very, very tough chin. Her striking and counter-striking is very crisp. She always keeps her hands up. She does very good at striking when she breaks from the clinch, as well as throwing inside trip takedowns. I think the one time that she was able to be taken down by Nunes, she was actually going for a headlock to defend a shot that Nunes had taken. And it seemed like even though Nunes was a bit bigger than Shevchenko, Shevchenko was just as strong, just as powerful. And now that she's dropped down to 125 pounds, I think her strength and her power is going to give people a lot of problems. On the feet, Shevchenko has actually beaten Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice in Muay Thai competition, as well as she has submission victories over Julia Pena and, like I said, Cachoeira. She had a split decision win over Sarah Kaufman, who is a very, very strong wrestler, and it just seems like that is going to be the difference in this fight. When you look at these two girls, the speed that they bring, it's almost like somebody has hit the fast forward button when you watch Shevchenko compared to Nicco Montano. Nicco's striking isn't very refined, and she has a habit of dropping her hands when she tries to throw her straights or her hooks. And that's going to be a big problem for her when she strikes with Shevchenko, who is a very good counter striker. She's always going to look for people to leave their chin hanging when they throw their overhands and things. She caught Amanda Nunes with a lot of powerful right hands, a lot of counter hooks when Nunes would find herself overextended throwing her straight left. I think that is going to be what happens to Nicco Montano in this fight. But the power difference is going to be much more effective. Montano, I see turning away from the power that Shevchenko has. Shevchenko getting a body lock, dragging Montano to the floor, and eventually getting the rear naked choke submission. I don't know if she has the one-punch knockout power needed to put Montano away with a KO, but I really do think that a first-round TKO or rear naked choke submission is very likely in this fight. The difference between the skill level, the difference between the experience of these two ladies is just going to be insurmountable for Nicco Montano. I just don't see any way for her to compete in the clinch, on the ground, or on her feet. So I'm going to have to go with the favorite. Big surprise, -900 favorite, Valentina Shevchenko. She is going to give the 125-pound division a lot of problems. Priscilla Cachoeira was 8-0 coming into her fight with Shevchenko, and Shevchenko put a beating on her. I think that the next big fight for Shevchenko will be when Champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk comes up to 125 pounds. I am really excited to see these two ladies compete in MMA, and excited to see what Shevchenko is able to do now that she's down at 125 pounds, comfortable with the weight. She's had one fight to get acclimated with her cardio. It'll be interesting to see how fast she gets started, if she sits back and waits to counter-strike or really takes the fight to Montano, who I think will be a little bit gun-shy in this fight. She says that she is not scared of anybody at 125 pounds, that she will knock out Valentina Shevchenko, but I think that's wishful thinking from the champion. So I'm going to go with Valentina. First round, submission or TKO victory. She will be and new the 125-pound champion in the UFC. And Nicco Montano will really have to go back to the drawing board after this fight and tighten up her striking game. I think the way she will be exposed in this fight will be very, very apparent for any discerning MMA fan. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. If you look down in the description, you'll find links to other breakdowns as well as recaps from previous UFC cards. I will talk to you guys soon.